Ever wonder what's happening inside you once you start enjoying your meal? Probably not, right? Let's dive into this amazing system together. Our body is made up of tiny building blocks called cells. When cells join together, they form tissues, and when tissues team up, they create organs, which, together with other organs, make a whole system. One of these incredible systems is the digestive system, made up of many organs, each with its own unique role. They have a crucial job to break down the food we eat into tiny pieces so that our bodies could utilize it to grow, get energy, and stay healthy. To begin, we'll delve into the digestion stages of three key nutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Carbohydrates, aka saccharides, are digested by an enzyme called amylase. When amylase brings into action for the first time, those hefty polysaccharide molecules convert into disaccharides. Then, when it goes for round two, they get transformed into monosaccharides, aka glucose. Glucose is required for filling up our cells with the power they need for metabolism. Likewise, proteins, also called peptides, are digested by an enzyme called protease. First, they go from being polypeptides to dipeptides, and then in the second round, they're broken down into peptones, or even better, the mighty amino acids, which our body needs for growth and repair for tissues and muscles. Fats, the protectors, are broken down into fatty acids and glycerol by an enzyme called lipase. Fats are vital as they surround and cushion our organs, providing a layer that shields them from harm. Now let's take a journey to unravel the digestion process step by step. The process begins in the oral cavity, which is just a fancy term for the mouth. Here we have three important characters: the tongue, the teeth, and the saliva. The teeth start to chew the food, and the nutrients keep getting exposed to the enzyme present in the saliva, which is the amylase that breaks down the carbohydrates. It converts the long chain of polysaccharides into the short chain disaccharides. The tongue keeps rolling and mixing the food with the saliva, and then eventually, in a more sophisticated manner, we refer to this entire mixture as bolus. So to summarize, only the digestion of poly to disaccharide takes place in the mouth. The bolus is then swallowed, and there it goes into a muscular tube known as the esophagus. This tube has muscles that work opposite to each other, meaning that one contracts when the other relaxes and vice versa. This rhythmic movement pushes the food down towards the stomach. When the bolus arrives in the stomach, the walls of this organ secretes an acidic juice known as the gastric juice. It mixes with the bolus, and the resultant mixture is called chyme. The gastric juice contains HCl and pepsin. HCl tries to kill all the bacteria present in that bolus and provides an acidic medium. This medium is required to activate the protease enzyme, which works its magic, transforming the proteins from polypeptides into dipeptides. The chyme then says bye-bye to the stomach and enters the next part of the alimentary canal, which is the intestine. The intestine is divided into two parts, the small and the large intestine. The chyme initially enters the first part of the small intestine, the duodenum. Here, the digestion of fats begins. The liver has already secreted an aqueous solution called bile, which is stored in the gallbladder. When the gallbladder senses the entrance of chyme, it releases bile, which converts fats into fatty droplets. Then the pancreas contributes its pancreatic juice, which contains the activated form of amylase, converting the disaccharides into monosaccharides, or rather glucose. As the chyme continues its journey, the intestinal walls secrete juices containing protease and lipase. The protease converts the dipeptides into peptones, which is a fancy term for amino acids, and the lipase enzyme converts fatty droplets into fatty acids and glycerol. What's happening here is that all three primary nutrients are undergoing a transformation into their simplest building blocks. The digestion ends in this part, and now the absorption begins in the next part of the small intestine, called the ileum. Right here in this zone, you've got millions of finger-like projections called villi. These structures are absorption experts with top-notch efficiency. Amino acids, glucose, fatty acids, and glycerol are all soaked up here. Let's see a more zoomed in structure of the villus. Inside the villus, there are blood capillaries tangled around lacteals. The blood capillaries lead to the liver, while the lacteals to the lymphatic system. The amino acids and glucose are absorbed by the capillaries, from where they are taken to the liver for utilization. The fatty acids and glycerol, on the other hand, they are large molecules and thus they cannot enter the blood capillaries. Instead, they travel through the lacteals to the lymphatic system. So, in the ileum, the primary components of these three key nutrients are absorbed, and the chyme is left with the rest of the dietary components, like vitamins, water, and undigested food. When it reaches the first part of the large intestine, the colon, the walls absorb the vitamins, minerals, and useful water. Then, what remains in the mixture are only excess water, undigested food, and fiber. This combination is referred to as feces, which is stored in the rectum and ingested out of the body voluntarily through the anus. And with that, the journey of digestion reaches its conclusion. The body has unlocked the power of essential nutrients from food, providing us with energy, supporting our growth, and ensuring our health and strength.